Previously on Big Brother. Welcome in to Previously on Big Brother Week 2, presented by the SoCo Show. My name is Seth Ott, and I'm here to recap the week's events of Big Brother. Now, this is the second week of Big Brother, and I'm going to pick up where we left off last week, which was where Christy has won the Head of Household competition. She is working on behalf of the Power 6 Alliance, which now turned into 8 people, and they officially named Grateful. They added in Tommy and Annalise. I'll talk about what I think about that in a minute, but to start off, I want to talk a little bit about the nominees. Christy puts up Cliff and Catherine, and this is really just kind of... just for those anyway, it was not too bad of a first week to put up because they're really just on the other side of the house. They're kind of looked at as the floaters. There wasn't really a whole lot to go off of. So in terms of her picks, I didn't think it was that bad. What I don't like, though, as I just mentioned, is the Power 8 Alliance, the Grateful Alliance. I don't like that there's so many people in this alliance. There's 8 people on that side of the house, and that's half of the 16. And to create a quote-unquote alliance with 8 people, that just becomes really difficult because for one, and they even mentioned in the episode, you can't get everyone together. That becomes way too difficult. That becomes suspicious right off the bat. And getting 8 people together in a room more than just once or twice in an entire season for an alliance is really tough. The 6 is even tough with this early on, but the 8 just begins to become difficult. And so we start to see those cracks form, specifically with Jack and Christy. Jack is the Jason Momoa Aquaman looking guy. He is really starting to lay out what he wants to see happen with the 8 people. He's starting to plan who's going to go next, who they're really targeting, and who they're going to go at going forward. And Christy, even then, is starting to get a little perturbed because she thinks Jack is really trying to run the group, let alone just her head of household reign. He's really targeting for this week Kemi, and that's not necessarily who she wants. She, at first she's kind of open to it, but she as the week goes on, she starts to realize that her and Kemi are tight. They're good, and it's not great for her game necessarily to get her out. I don't agree. If you're going to be in that alliance, you got to go with the majority vote. And so Kemi would have been, I think, the proper choice. So we get into the nominations. Wasn't really a lot of eventful stuff happening on Sunday's episode other than the nominations and the formation of the 8 and the beginning of the cracks. Tuesday's episode was the eventful one. So that's where we had the power of veto. The power of veto happens, Sam wins. And so he's the truck driver guy. He's very energetic, kind of funny, but he's not on the grateful side of the house. So he's not super important at this point. I honestly don't think he'll go super far. Maybe win a few competitions here or there, but honestly, he's not it doesn't seem to be a strategic game player. Point in case, he wants to take Cliff off. He wants to save Cliff, and because he's created a friendship with Cliff, and Cliff's a nice guy, and he feels like Cliff deserves to be there. But that again is not a smart move. You don't rock the boat. You do what the head of household wants. You don't just go off and do your own decisions, especially this early on. Anyway, Cliff is going to be taken off the block. So Christy has to decide who she wants to put up. Again, the alliance says Kemi. They want Kemi gone. They think she's rocking the boat, or she's smart, or whatever the case may be. They want her gone. Christy, though, doesn't want that. She wants to put someone else up because her and Kemi are close. So she starts to really question Jack to the point she's in tears and she's crying, and there's a lot of crying this season, unfortunately. It's entertaining, but it's also very annoying, especially for people that you want to see do well. But she starts getting emotional in that. Then she starts telling people outside of her alliance what the plans are and what she wants to do versus what Jack wants to do. She names Jack as the guy who is running the place to people outside of the alliance. She mentions it to people like Sam, who won the H of 8. She mentions it to Allison, who is that nerdy type girl. Neither of which are in the Grateful Alliance. She mentions things like our group several times, and it's that right there shows that this group doesn't work because for one, they mention at one point that this group comes together organically, and that is not the case at all. It basically was just, oh, come here, do it 8 times, and they finally get to that. I mean, even in the end, they with adding the 2 additional past the 6, they just decide, oh, we want numbers. That's not an organic group. That is a group that has come together because they just want numbers and because maybe they like certain people or whatever it might be. I thought that was a really dumb way to form a group. Regardless, though, she's the one who creates the cracks, Christy. And so this group really isn't going to last much longer past these next couple weeks. I think that some moves will be made really early on here that are going to cause this group to really fail. I don't like it at all. Anyway, so we take a look at who is going to be the replacement nominee. One other thing that happens too, and that'll lead into the nominee. So I mentioned last week there is a new competition. And I couldn't remember what it was, something with whack in it. It is the Whacktivity competition, where they all signed up for a different competition based off the name, and each of the competitions has a power. The Nightmare competition was this week. That power, that's what also happened on Sunday, so that's why I didn't think it was so momentous. So that competition was this week. That power was whoever won this competition was able to, after the nomination ceremony going forward, were able to pull whoever's on the block off. They were able to just eliminate those nominations at late in the night, and then at that point, the head of household would have to create new nominees or come up with new nominees on the spot. So that was the power that Ovi won in that competition. Fast forward here, now Ovi didn't get nominated, so he can only use it when right after the nomination ceremony. Fast forward here to the veto. As Christy is trying to come up with a replacement that's not Kemi, they go through a list of people. None of them are working. All of a sudden, Ovi comes up to say dinner is ready. And voila, that's the replacement nominee. Now, earlier in the week, Ovi had tried, because he heard rumblings of this 8-person alliance. He'd heard rumblings of it. And he, unfortunately, was in the talks too late. He heard the talks too late. He was in the room too late because that 8-person had already been formed. But he thought he was getting the jump on it. He went and created a 5-person alliance. That's not a real thing, with majority of the people in the 8-person alliance. Unfortunately, he just didn't know that wasn't a real thing. I had mentioned last week that Ovi was the only person I really had any sort of hope for based off of the videos and things like that. I still hold true to that. I still think a lot of these people are not very good at gameplay. I think a lot of them are very emotional and quick to jump off the vest. And I think that Ovi isn't. Ovi, even through this whole thing, played it pretty cool and still has. So Ovi gets put up Thursday, the live eviction. It's Ovi versus Kat. At this point, Mickey has a thing with Kat. Not everyone wants Kat out. Ovi was already a kind of a target for these people because they kind of saw what I was talking about with him, and so they vote Ovi out. So I will say with a caveat here, I was wrong up front. I thought I was almost right with Kemi. I thought she was going to go, and I was completely wrong about Ovi in that he was the first to go. That doesn't happen very often for me, so, it is what it is. But with Ovi, I still think he has a shot. So now there's this new rule that for this season, at least for the first few, is the camp comeback, where Ovi and then subsequently David now, and whoever goes out for the foreseeable future, probably two more weeks, they live in camp comeback above the, it's like a little room above the house, and they're in like the attic or whatever it is. Crappy conditions, just broken. It's like a broken down old camp room, and that's where they live, and they still get to play a social game. So this is new from something they've done in the past. They have never had the evicted house guests live in the house still. They've always been in sequester, which is what David was in, where they were just off in like a hotel or something. This is a real like they're in the house. They still get to play the social games. They don't get to like watch the competitions or participate in the competitions. They get to know afterwards, still play a social game. I really like this. This is a really, really cool twist that they've done compared to the past, because it does allow, if Ovi were to win that comeback competition, he's still playing a social game, and that is his strength, is the social game. So he can still work his way into an alliance, and at least, maybe not an alliance, but at least have a foundation of, when he comes back, he's not gone right away. Because normally when they have these comeback competitions, that person is gone right away. I think Ovi would still have a shot to do it. Now, we'll see who else gets voted out in the coming weeks. I bet Kemi will probably be one, and I think we're probably going to get an alliance member voted out of the Grateful Alliance. Now, we had the HOH competition. Jack Jason Momoa or Aquaman, won that, and he's in power again for that alliance. I do think, though, that I with how everything happened with Christy this week, I really think that she is on dangerous footing. She is a very emotional player. Very, very emotional player. I think she also has that thing with Tommy where they used to know each other. That may come out at some point. I think that at this point it's going to be a short run for the Grateful Alliance. So look for that to crumble, and maybe even this week, because Jack and Christy are already butting heads, and there's just not good communication throughout. I also did mention, too, so Ovi is gone with this power. He met, and as a last-ditch attempt to stay, he told Mickey and Jack that he had this power and that he could use it for them. I'm wondering if he's going to use that still as a tool for when he comes back. He'll let them know, this is still in power. Maybe, because they never mentioned, I don't know if maybe they will or whatever, they never mentioned that power is completely out of play. So if he comes back, he has a shot to maybe convince someone he can use it and use it as a play in his game or whatever. I thought it was smart for him to tell them that he used it, though, because he didn't have anything left. He was pretty much gone at that point. So for him to mention that at least gave him hope in the end. So thought it was smart. But again, I do think Ovi has a shot. Who's left? I don't know. I really don't know who I would pick as a winner. I mean, I think Jack is playing too aggressive of a game. Even with Christy being emotional, he's still playing a very aggressive game. I think Mickey is still a little bit more level-headed. He's kind of shifted the target off his back, so I like that about him. He's kind of in an emotional romance thing too, though, so we'll see what happens there. Honestly, maybe Allison could do a good job. She's already collected some intel, and she seems like a smart cookie. I don't know. There's just really not anyone in the house that's popped out to me yet, other than Ovi, and now he's unfortunately gone. David is another guy that probably could have done it too. He seemed like he was a smart guy. I really don't like this alliance, and a lot of the floaters who are left too, they just are either too emotional or just don't know the game enough or whatever it may be. So I don't have a pick now. I still would have been Ovi. I don't have a pick anymore, and I don't really know of anyone who sticks out to me. As anything comes out, I will definitely mention it. But it's going to be still an interesting game at this point. I'm excited to see this Grateful Alliance break down and what alliances come from it. Maybe someone like Ovi or David, who are just playing floaters, say, hey, I can come back in and help you out. Some of these floaters can come in, and Allison or something like that can come in and really build themselves into alliance, or something along those lines. But it'll still be fun. I'm excited. In terms of the schedule, that is changing now again. So Wednesday is going to be the veto. So that's a different thing. Wednesday is going to be veto night, where they do the veto ceremony and take people off the block, and then we're back to Thursday live evictions. So the schedule is reforming to what it usually is. I'm happy about that. So that'll be good to get back into the usual schedule. Also, I really hate the End Big Brother song now. I don't know if I forgot if I mentioned it last week or not. I hate the End Big Brother song that they changed from the past. So just know that it used to be way better if you never watched Big Brother before. But that's it. That's the week 2 recap. I'm excited to see what happens with Jack and his HOH reign, to see if he does shake things up in that alliance or if he just goes straight out for Kemi or whatever it may be. So excited to come back next week and talk about the reign and what's going to be going on. Otherwise, please check out the SoCo Show. Episode 101 is available right now. It's the episode before this one on the feed. We got the SoCo sketches coming up very soon. Cody will be explaining a horror movie very soon on the YouTube page. Please check this out on the YouTube page as well. If you're listening to this on the audio, please check this out on the YouTube and vice versa. So again, thank you for listening. Check out our other SoCo productions, other podcasts, videos, all that. Check out Jared Buckendahl on the YouTube page, a big supporter as well, good friend of ours, and I know he's been helping support the Big Brother podcast too. So thanks to Jared, and that'll be it. So from inside the SoCo studios, I'm Seth Ott. Good night. Previously on Big Brother.